Good Saturday morning, everybody. I'm Mason Sapesky here with you today. Today, I'm going to real quickly breeze through my college football predictions for the week. Last week, I did pretty well, actually, with my predictions. I'm sorry I didn't do a post-game on them. I was just very busy and all that with the Pitt stuff, the Steelers stuff, with Mondays with Mason, schoolwork, everything. So I'm just sorry about that. I'll try to do one this week, but there's no guarantees. But after last week, my prediction record improved itself to 27-11. This week, it's a little bit up in the air because there are some interesting picks I made on here. So we'll get to those in a minute, but I'm very excited to see what happens today for sure. We're going to start off in Champaign, Illinois with the Penn State Nittany Lions traveling to Champaign to take on the Illinois Fighting Illini. I don't think this is going to be much of a game at all. It could be close early on, but in the end, I don't think this is going to be much of a game. I think Penn State easily runs through Illinois. Give me Penn State 42-17. LSU, Mississippi State. This, I think, here is the upset pick of the day. I think Mississippi State's going to come out hot. They're going to play motivated. They're going to be so fired up for this game. Words can't even describe how fired up I think they'll be for this game. I'm going to take the Mississippi State Bulldogs in the upset of the day, 31-28 over LSU. I'm not picking this game because it should be a blowout, but it might not be. Another game I would keep an upset watch on is Western Michigan at Iowa. Why I'm saying this is because Iowa has been upset at home in the past, and Western Michigan has pulled off notable road upsets in the past. Unfortunately, Pitt is one of the teams that suffered this, kept them out of college football playoff contention in 2021 as they were 10-2 that year. They were ACC champions. If they would have won over Western Michigan, they could have easily been in the playoff contention that year because I think, and I shouldn't really say this after last week because last week was terrible, but they probably would have got in over Cincinnati because Cincinnati at the time was an American Athletic Conference team and Pitt was an ACC team. But Cincinnati stuck it to us then with that, and they stuck it to us last Saturday too. So I can't wait till 2024 when we play in Nippert Stadium in Cincinnati. I hope to get revenge on the Bearcats then. But anyway, aside from that, I think the Western Michigan against Iowa could be a trendy upset pick. This one also, LSU and Mississippi State would make a good upset pick as well. Kansas State and Missouri, this could be another one that could be an upset. I'm not going to pick the upset today just because I'm picking Kansas State 31-24. However, don't be surprised if Missouri wins this game. Louisville at Indiana. This is one I am going to pick the upset in. I'm going to go with the Indiana Hoosiers 31-27 over Louisville. I just think Indiana playing at home, watching them play against Ohio State, they didn't play bad at all. Watching Louisville play against Georgia Tech, they struggled for the longest time with Georgia Tech. I think this game's Indiana's for the taking. I think Indiana's going to win this game. Iowa State at Ohio U. I think this will be another close one. This will be very interesting for sure. Ohio is a good football team. They could easily compete with half, if not over half of the ACC. Maybe the bottom 2 or 3 of the SEC, bottom 2 or 3 of the Big Ten, and bottom half of the Big 12. I'm going to tell you this right now. This game will be huge because I don't think the SEC or the Big Ten is the most deep conference in college football this season. They might have the best teams, but they're not the most deep. The most deep conference, I believe, in college football this season is the Big 12. There are so many good teams in the Big 12. Look at last week, for example, and I'm going to keep circling back to this one. Cincinnati 27, Pitt 21, because it bothers me, and I just want to... And I'm just going to talk about it more because it leads to some theories that I've kind of figured out. Cincinnati 27, Pitt Panthers 21. If Cincinnati this season earlier was ranked second to last in the Big 12, only behind West Virginia. Pitt lost to Cincinnati last week at home. That shows you the Big 12 is really deep. It is much better than the ACC, and it is at the same level as the SEC and Big 10, I believe. So don't count on a Big 12 team, and I'm not counting on the Big 12 team today either. I believe they narrowly win this one. The Iowa State Cyclones 34, Ohio Bobcats 27. However, this game will truly show kind of what the Pac-12 or the Big 12, is made of. Sorry, I just had a little something I had to take care of up there, but Yeah, everything's all good now. So anyway, now we're going to move on to our next game here. Sorry about that again. South Carolina at Georgia. I think this game will be much closer than most people expect it to be, but I don't think it's going to be a good day for South Carolina at the same time. I was just about what I wanted to say there. I'm sorry about that, but I think it'll be a good one, but in the end, Georgia will still pull away by a final score of 42-24. San Diego State at Oregon State. San Diego State did not impress me, obviously, last week against UCLA. UCLA looked really strong. I think this week will be a much tougher task for them once they go up to Corvallis or whatever town Oregon State's in. But I think they're going to play harder. I think they're going to be more gritty and physical, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I'm going to take the Oregon State Beavers 34-21. Next up, Minnesota at North Carolina. This will be an interesting game for sure because it will tell what the top teams in the ACC, which is what North Carolina is, can be against a solid Big Ten team or an average Big Ten team in Minnesota. This game will be close. This game will be interesting. I'm cheering for Carolina today because I want Carolina to win this one today, and then next week I want to see Pitt beat Carolina. So then essentially that can prove that Pitt can play with solid Big Ten teams. These next few weeks will mean a lot for not just my Pitt Panthers, but college football as a whole in this regard. Today also means a lot for the Penn State and Nittany Lions. If WVU wins tonight, they can make the argument that they beat Pitt by more than they beat WVU this year. Penn State beat WVU 38-15. So if WVU wins tonight, you can make the argument that they would beat Pitt something like 45-8. That's disappointing to say the least. However, if Pitt wins tonight, which I highly doubt a lot of Penn Staters are cheering for, you can make the argument that Penn State only beats Pitt like 31-22. And Cincinnati's better than Pitt. So if Penn State beats Pitt by only like 9-10 points, 2 touchdowns, Cincinnati would give them a game. So don't count out Cincinnati. That's going to be like probably my whole ritual from now on, circling back to don't count out Cincinnati. They really impressed me last week, and I give them credit for that. But anyway, for this prediction, though, I need to stay on task for now, but I'm going to pick North Carolina 31-27 over Minnesota. Washington at Michigan State. This one will be an interesting game for sure. Michigan State head coach Mel Tucker was suspended earlier in the week for harassment purposes. Washington has a great quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., transferred from Indiana, so Michigan State should be somewhat used to him. Kalen DeBoer, who's one of the best head coaches in college football, in my opinion. This team's going to be in the midst for a playoff spot. Ultimately, it might come down to their game against the USC Trojans on November the 4th, whether or not this team is a legitimate playoff contender or not. So it's going to be exciting today, to say the least. I think that this will be closer than most people expected. I can even see Michigan State winning this game. However, I'm going to go with the Washington Huskies, 34-24 in this one. Tennessee at Florida. I'm going to go pick the upset here. I'm going to go on a limb and pick the upset. I'm going to take Florida 31, Tennessee 28. The reason is this. The home team typically does win this game, and I think that Florida's going to be ready. They're going to be fired up. They're going to be excited. Give me the Florida Gators. Miami of Ohio at Cincinnati. You know I had to pick this one. The only reason I'm picking it is the line. I totally hate the fact that they set the line at 14 points for Cincinnati. I think it should be much greater. I'm going to go out there and see if I could prove them wrong. I'm picking Cincinnati 42-10 in this one. And if it's more, it wouldn't surprise me. If it's less, it would surprise me and scare me a little bit. So I'm going to definitely be keeping an eye out on this one while Pitt plays WVU. So interesting times in college football. Sacramento State at Stanford. This one's special because Stanford head coach Troy Taylor used to coach at Sacramento State before he went over to the University of Stanford. But this will be a good game for him. It's at Stanford, but it'll kind of like be a little homecoming for him. He'll get to see some people on his old staff, some of his old players, that kind of stuff. But I think it'll be a good homecoming for Troy Taylor. Homecoming, not homecoming, is what we should call it, because he'll be playing his former team, but it will be at his new stadium. So I'm taking Stanford 42-17. TCU at Houston. This is another one I wouldn't be surprised if an upset did occur. I think Houston's a really good football team. They just stumbled last week against Rice. Who knows what happened there? I didn't get to watch highlights of that game at all. I might though sometime soon, but just haven't got the chance to. But it's going to be interesting now. But I'm going to pick Houston to win this one, 34-31. Sorry, I'm just getting a lot of texts about different things right now, so sorry about that too. This is the last game, though, for this prediction video, but Colorado State of Colorado. This is a rather easy one, I think. I'm sorry about this one being so easy, but this should be a really fun game just because it's a rivalry game, but I'm taking Colorado 49-23. Deion has made this game personal. He's not going to slouch. He's going to get his team fired up. This is the biggest story in college football and arguably the sports world right now. I am going to take Colorado 49-23. That's all I have for you guys today. Have a good one. Enjoy this day of college football. Keep an eye out for my pick game day pregame. So have a good one. Take care. Stay safe. Peace.